because of this.
Now, all right,
This don't matter, bro.
All right, I'm gonna mute you right now, Muhammad. You brought out interesting point, but Muhammad, I do think, I don't think Christians, not just urban apologists, I don't think Christians, black Christians in America that know vocab think vocab got a beef with black people. Like I said, when I put that video out there where the whole thing jumped off of James White, and I just knew he was just on with James White 2 days earlier, I threw that thing out there, and LaRon hit me and said, or just posted thing, vocab ain't no racist. And and to be honest, that is the sentiment among black believers. Black believers out here, outside of the Israelite, I don't know nobody the black that say vocab is racist or sense any racism whatsoever from him. You, Muhammad, I'm gonna give it to vocab specifically on what Minister Dante said with the energy level for James White and them. And you're coming on here defending Dr. E, and will you defend him in front of European evangelicals the same way? Or I'm just rephrasing it, but I'm gonna give you the microphone to address to start from there, if you don't mind, guys.
Yeah, Dante, if you didn't say or imply that about Cherry, I'm just wondering why several times you referred to her as Sister Cherry LGBTQ.
I didn't even know. I don't even listen to her. I didn't even know all of this was going on, and that. But you telling me about foreskin, and I asked her. That's another. Like I said, that's part of the zoo there.
I never did that one. My name for Dante is Dante 400 years. It has to do with his false prophecy that made him say he's going to run to Robert Shapiro. So my question is, why did you call her Cherry LGBTQ love if you're not?
Because she is subscribed to LGBTQ channels, as I pointed out, and she admitted to, if you go back, she said, yes, I am.
Let me tell everybody how this dude's a liar. Not only is a false prophet, false teacher, because Cherry has children, which is none of your business, by the way, but her children, who I met in the south side of Chicago, she lives right down the street from Farrakhan's restaurant. Her children were watching some content producers on YouTube, and she wanted to check it out to see if it was cool for them to watch or not. So she subscribed to the channel to see the content. Her conclusion was, this is not acceptable material for my children. So that is why she would subscribe to that channel, to check her child's viewing habits like a good mother should. And you dare to say that about her? You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. She's married. She's doing what she can where she is. She's hospitable. She's loving. It's just disgusting that you would do that. And you're going to act like you building up the community with that kind of talk. Now, let me answer the rest of this dude's questions. Why did I ask Brother Jay to sing it? Because I can't sing. I'm not Dean Martin. I'm not Frank Sinatra. The reason why I asked Brother Jay to sing it is because Brother Jay can sing.
I arrived to the camp with the fringes on. Everybody's looking at me now. They're like, who's the ark with the kiss, getting kissed with the Edomite on the ground. Regenerate, I'm here for the 4th time. My mom is right, so she could die tonight.
So that's why. And then when we go to, how is it when you have a parody where you're pouring down camel pee, which of course is apple juice, down John McCrae's throat? Because it's a bad idea for people to drink camel pee. And so the parody is showing why Islam is bad. It's bad for the black community. It's bad for every other type of community. And it's bad for your health, because drinking camel pee, despite what Muslim apologists say, is not a good thing. And the parody is showing that. And if you had your blinders off, you'd realize, hey, man, we shouldn't really want to have people drink camel pee. I'm glad this is there, because I didn't know that. Now, you said, well, you have people being blowed up and all this. Well, if you paid attention, we also have people, the main people that we deal with in the Boom Boom Room are white folks. We blow up, we have a KKK episode. We have all kinds of episodes. So it's not like we're going around and this is what's happening. Why did we have the Torah upside down, though, in the Hebrew Israelite episode, which was not my idea. It was my man Operation Apologetics idea, which I thought was a good idea. And the reason is, it's to show Hebrew Israelites might as well be reading the Bible upside down. It doesn't have to do with being illiterate. It has to do with the way they interpret the scriptures. It's literally upside down. That's kind of an easy concept. That's why. But because you can't deal with me on a factual level, you have to paint this narrative. Notice, Dante Fortson's strongest weapon is to not to counteract anyone's arguments, especially mine. It's to cry, racist, racist. Never wants to deal with the facts. It shows where his strongest weapon is and his weakest weapon. And his weakest weapon is the facts. Now, why on Private Eye for Yahushai did the character say, well, then call them a cood? Here's the reason why. If you notice, the call goes, first he says, well, call him an Edomite, call him a cracker. The reason why he says that is because that's what Hebrew Israelites do. When you step to them, they call you some kind of racial slur. Often they call you something dealing with your sexual preferences. If you're not that persuasion, then they call you a sellout. And that's why I use that word. It's playing off literally what the Hebrew Israelites do. But apparently
that's camps. That's more so camps.
No. Because Dante does the same thing, albeit talking slower and slicker, but he literally does the same thing as the camps. He's just not on a corner. He's on a mouse pad.
Here he posts a picture of a raccoon, a little cartoon raccoon, and then he employed these little raccoon emojis, which he intended as a rather gross racial slur. At that point, the thread had reached rock bottom, and there really wasn't much point in going on. In a sad bit of irony, in the recent past, Dante Fortson had railed against Vocab Malone's Private Eye for Yahushai skit, which satirized other Israelites, employing precisely the disgusting slur alluded to in that emoji. Those other Israelites employ that disgusting slur when people question them. And Dante thought that skit was outrageous, but now we see that he sinks to the same depths, employing basically the same disgusting language in a not-so-veiled way. It's honestly quite sad.
He does the same thing. Right, now, why the handcuffs? It's to show that Hebrew Israelite doctrine enslaves you. And guess what? That was John McCrae's idea, not mine. Ask him. Lastly, James White and Jeff Durbin, I don't have access to those platforms anymore. At the time I did, the discussions were had. I don't have access to those platforms anymore, and it's been a long time since I have. So let's see what Dante's going to say, because I know it's going to be a very emotional response because somebody's in their feelings. Polemics has always been involved. And nobody told, hey, Augustine, you better keep your mouth shut when you're dealing with this monk Pelagius, because, he's from Britain and you're from Africa. So, you don't have a cultural right to speak to him. You better shut up, Augustine, because you can't be speaking to no dude who's in the British Isles. What are you talking about, man? These are universal issues of the church. And that's why a controversy that began in Alexandria, began in Africa, dealing with Arius and all that, ended up having a conference in Turkey, modern day Turkey, of course, Nicaea, mainly bishops from the East, because the church has recognized the universal issues that are important. And so to me, it's all about geography. When I used to live in the East Phoenix, I was dealing with Mormons all the time. And you said, you wouldn't do this with Muslims. Brother, I stood outside mosque and give these men and women Gospels of John in Arabic. This is very similar to what Paul and them did when they would go into the synagogue and use that open time that the Jews would allow to say Jesus fulfills these messianic prophecies. They knew that wasn't going to be accepted. They knew that wasn't, but they also knew that God would have his elect and some people would listen. So all the slings and the arrows, it's just not going to do nothing. I'll answer any question, whatever you're trying to talk about, but you have literally bought into the lie wholesale. And if you want to,
what lie, Vocab?
The lie that anybody who contradicts some of these egregious doctrines has to have certain sort of credentials. It's funny because he goes against the idea of credentials, and yet he is saying you got to have the proper cultural credentials. Yet you don't know who everyone is. You don't know what's going on. The question is really a veracity, not ethnicity. And you can change it, make it however it is. But I think at the end, it proves. Short, weird story from old school hip hop. MC Search, very mediocre rapper. He's overrated, but nonetheless, used to go all the time to the hood, play basketball, and rap with the dudes. And they would beat him up every time they saw him. And he would come back around and get beat up again. And they said, man, this white boy's searching. So they call him MC Search because he kept on coming around. And eventually he got respect because of that. That's what I'm saying. There's a long-term issue here. And we'll see who's really about it and who's not, about who ducks out, who sticks around.
All right,
I don't know what the Lord has, but I don't plan on ducking around it. So complaining about my presence is only going to get people so far. The real question is, what are the issues on the table? That's what I'm saying.
I want to talk about the issues on the table. I want to bring up one thing. You spoke about the pastor, the other brothers say they want to sue you and this and that. They got a question for you too. They're going to be respectful. I'm going to bring them on. But I want to say one thing. Now that you look back, do you think, I want to go back to the whole J producer thing and the slavery in the U.S. So people was offended because of that. I was offended behind that. Do you think you could have done that different? You think people just didn't get it, or people were just looking for any type of beef?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good question, a fair question. I was blindsided by it because I didn't think anybody would think I was talking about antebellum slavery. Because when I heard people say that, I was sitting there thinking, what exactly would the joke be in antebellum slavery? I didn't understand how someone could get that out of it. Because I had already talked to some people in the community about this parody idea already. And it was literally based upon a line. So here's what I would have done different. I would have played the video clip that was the inspiration. And if you notice in the final parody, and again, Muhammad is going along with Dante's narrative, and he's not a truth teller, Dante, that is. If you about the song, if you listen to the final song, this is to everybody. I really ask you to do this, regardless of your opinion about me. Just try to be fair and honest. If you listen to the song, an ISUPK DC member literally says, "Slavery is coming to America, man." That's the first line.
Slavery is coming to America. That's right. And you, black man, you gonna own slaves. That's right. You Hispanic man and Native Indian man, you are going to own slaves. That's right. You are gonna make them pick your cotton.
That was the whole inspiration for the song. And if you notice, that's why the final title was Party of the UPK, because it's a UPK guy who said it. So I was blindsided that an ISUPK guy was one of the main people to try to say, oh, this must be about antebellum slavery. Because I was sitting there thinking, what would the joke be about antebellum slavery? And what kind of person would think there's something, what urban apologists think, hey, this is a great way to, let's make something funny about antebellum slavery. What? So I was blindsided. So what I would have done, Brother Berean, is I would have played the clip and say, hey, listen, here's this clip, this video clip that ended up in the final song. So you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You can see it's not the side of my neck. All this exists. I would have played the clip and said, this gives me an idea. Let's make this song. That's what I would have done. And so that's all I'm asking people is to be honest about it and just hear it out and listen to what I'm saying. Because if you were in UPK, Muhammad, you know that's what they would say and teach. So, again, you're trying to paint yourself a certain way. But let me tell you, you said, oh, if Vocab tried to talk to the gods, you get his throat slit before he walked in the room. And I don't see him out in Mecca. Bro, there's videos of me in downtown Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, Oak Cliff, Dallas, and in Harlem, and a number of other places, including Times Square, speaking to Hebrew Israelites. I don't know what you're talking about. Bro, if you want to take it there, because you're painting yourself as the hero of the story, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't understand I don't only focus on the white church in America. Nobody should. But it seems like you do, because if you say dispensation, that's the only thing you can refer to. So it's just a lot of sloppiness. Now, if you want to go back to, if you can respond to, if you want.
You think the majority, hold on a second, Muhammad, give me a second. You think the majority of criticism that you get is because you blow at the cams? I see Pastor Robinson said, do you think the majority of heat that you get in general is because you blow shots at the camp? I see Pastor Isaiah. I just put his shout out to him. Try to be respectful of pastors and everybody. We might have had our beef, but whatever. And so I want to put his comment up here. Do you think the majority of problems that you get are because you blow shots at the camp specifically, or I don't even want to say Israelites in general, because I don't know. You brought him into Dante. You think that's part of the problem because you expose their faulty doctrine, like Isaiah said?
For years, one Westers was standing out in the corners talking about nobody will face us, everybody's afraid of us. And it wasn't just one Wester saying that. The non-one Westers would say that within the halls of their institutions as well. This is
give me an example. What do you mean non-one Westers?
So you would hear this kind of braggadocio from Ben Ami, for example, Damon Israel. Those are not one Westers. They originally come out of Southside Chicago.
Okay. Like a Pastor Dowell or somebody like I hate to bring up names.
This is a common Hebrew Israelite myth that nobody can touch them. When the reality is they're just flying under the radar, getting a pass. That's the reality of it. There's a small quadrant of people who step to them. All of a sudden, they turn into the biggest crybabies. They go from warrior to princess in 0.2. Perfect example is Pastor Kelly Richardson and Dante Fortson. Both of these dudes have threatened to sue me multiple times whenever I step to them. Sue me? This is what I'm talking about. Warrior to princess in 0.2 seconds. Just because someone all of a sudden says something. And you said something that was not true, Muhammad. You said, oh, you're going to question their culture. I don't question Hebrew Israelite culture. You never see me saying, take off those fringes. I question the bad doctrine. I question the bad praxis. And here's the thing. If they never would have went into churches in my neighborhood, if they never were out on the corner in my neighborhood, I didn't have to travel. I had to walk. This would have never happened. But they've been doing this for a hot minute. Everybody's afraid of them. They call the cops. Let's not call the cops. Let's deal with these dudes. And the second you do, oh, you're a racist. Let's sue you. This is the most weak ideology ever. And you are helping prop it up. But it's just like God told Israel, don't lean on that stick, Egypt. It's going to break. You can't hold no weight. But that's what you're doing, bro.
Do you think you're racially insensitive? I'm gonna give it to Muhammad now, but that's just something I'm gonna throw out there to you. You brought up Pastor Kelly, Minister Dante. I see you hit me the phone. The E that hit me. They wanted to ask one question. I told them in the beginning before you even jumped on. I wasn't sure if you were taking questions, but you did bring their name up.
I'm insensitive to crybabies. I'm not insensitive to the needs of the community. I'm insensitive to crybabies, though. Those who go from warrior to princess in 0.2 seconds. I'm insensitive to that because they talk tough, and then the second you step to them, we're going to sue you.
Everybody, this is Dante Fortson here with How to Sue Vocab Malone for Defamation. And again, you can go to avvo.com and you can search for personal injury lawyers in the state of Arizona where Vocab is located. And as you see, when you search for personal injury lawyers in Arizona, I'm sorry, I got the hiccups really, really bad right now, and I did not get me any water. But you can search for a personal injury lawyer, and you can call these guys and see if any of them have defamation experience. It'll just give you the list of lawyers, personal injury lawyers in the state of Arizona. And there are other sites like this. You can go to multiple pages and look through this. I don't want to suggest any specific attorney, nor do I want to reveal which attorneys I'm talking to. But I encourage you to go to AVVO, look for personal injury lawyers with defamation experience, and get the ball rolling on the lawsuits against Vocab Malone. Now, you will need to know his real name. And so since you're not allowed to dox people
This is Vocab Malone, host of Street Apologist Radio. Please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/Vocab Malone, and hit that bell so you can get all the notifications. And check out the description box for more links and more about this ministry. Thanks for watching.
Come on, everybody.
It's a party today in the UPK.
Up on the block on 125th with the Bible in my hand. Welcome to New Babylon. Or is it Egyptian? Regenerate, I'm here for the third time. Look at your white wife, Negro, you're out of line. Theology is so crazy. No job and no so lazy. King James, not a Scott, and the internet rules it. Twist the scripts, call your mama, ooh. UPK on the radio, it's the Hebrews' favorite show. Talking all night long, cursing all night long. So pull your pants up, 2,000 soon. I'm gonna fly to the moon. I'm grabbing your girls like yeah, lashing the waist like yeah. So pull your pants up, 2,000 soon. I'm gonna fly to the moon. Yeah, it's a party in the UPK. Yeah, it's a party in the UPK. I arrived to the camp with the fringes on. Everybody's looking at me now. They're like, who's the ark with the kiss? Getting kissed with the Israelite on the ground. Regenerate, I'm here for the fourth time. My mom is white, so she could die tonight.
Slavery is coming to America. That's right. And you, black man, you gonna own slaves. That's right. You Hispanic man and Native Indian man, you are going to own slaves. That's right. You are gonna make them pick your cotton. That's right. You are gonna make them shine your shoes. That's right. You're gonna make them mop your floor. Right. And you are gonna work them like dogs. That's right. What they did to God's people, man.
So pull your pants up, 2,000 soon. I'm gonna fly to the moon. I'm grabbing your girls like yeah, lashing the waist like yeah. So pull your pants up, 2,000 soon. I'm gonna fly to the moon. Yeah, it's a party in the UPK. Yeah, it's a party in the UPK.